On Earth, there are 3 locations where the evolution of species occurs 100 times faster than in other regions. This is due to the existence of a special substance named HYR, a marvel from the depths of the Earth. This substance not only drives the evolutionary process of life, but also governs the entire stratigraphic structure of the Earth. Simply put, HYR has the ability to construct the world in the first 5 days, and then on the 6th day, it creates all living creatures, much like the Creator. This is a concept proposed by an elusive professor 20 years ago. However, because it was too abstract and difficult to grasp, it gradually faded into obscurity. Upon hearing this, I was absolutely thrilled. Wasn't this the very thing I had always dreamed of, the creative pursuit I had constantly yearned for? HYR matter, with its ability to accelerate evolution and shape the Earth's form, is it not God Himself? It is astonishing that the professor's theory, after 2 decades, was found in a scientific study conducted by students. I realized that the theory once considered unrealistic 20 years ago has now become a key hypothesis in science. Could HYR matter be the experimental product of an extraterrestrial race living deep within the Earth? Where did the epidemic originate? And what is the true origin of the 2 most mysterious substances on Earth, water and oil? When will the next catastrophic earthquake or volcanic eruption occur? The HYR theory, seemingly a mere fairy tale, turns out to perfectly explain all of humanity's questions. The story originates from the eruption of an underwater volcano in Tonga 2 decades ago. This is the largest eruption that humans have experienced in the past 30 years. The column of smoke rose high into the sky, forming the top of a giant mushroom cloud with a diameter of up to 500 kilometers. The volcanic ash was ejected into the stratosphere, spreading across the entire Earth and even reaching as far as Alaska, a remote place 10,000 kilometers away. Residents can also hear and see the announcements. Injecting volcanic particles into the stratosphere to cool the Earth is a concern for many, leading to crop failures and the destruction of habitats and ecosystems on Earth. But that did not happen. In fact, 2023 was recorded as the hottest summer in history. And this year in 2024, the weather is even more extreme. Why is that so? It shows how small humans truly are. The largest eruption in 30 years was truly a disaster for us. But for Earth at 4.6 billion years old, that's just a tiny pimple, utterly insignificant. And this story is the key to a deeper understanding of HYR theory. A macro-level theoretical framework with a global scale. HYR material, in technical terminology, is referred to as HYR magma. Nam HYR originates from deep within the Earth, erupting from a volcano. But this is not a volcano in the traditional sense that we usually imagine. Compared to major volcanic eruptions in the past, such as the eruption of Mount Toba 74,000 years ago, compared to the mass extinctions humanity has endured, current volcanic eruptions are merely minor outbursts. The Toba volcanic eruption is estimated to have released approximately 1 million cubic kilometers of volcanic material. It is 10 million times larger than Yellowstone, the largest volcano in the Americas today. And this is the most catastrophic disaster in Earth's 4.6 billion year history. This event is called the Deccan Traps. 65 million years ago, an event occurred that subjected the dinosaurs to 32 years of suffering. Countless volcanic ash, toxic gases, and glowing hot rocks were released into the atmosphere, plunging half the Earth into darkness. The dinosaurs endured a frigid winter that lasted for 32 years, along with acid rain. And then disaster struck, tragically ending the age of the dinosaurs forever. We once told this story in a video discussing the extinction of the dinosaurs. Tune in to the channel for the full details. The question is, how can a volcano continue to erupt continuously for 32 years? Could it have spewed forth a stream of lava from deep within the Earth? Indeed, that is the stream of molten lava erupting from deep within the Earth's core. This is what a real volcano looks like. And HYR magma, only volcanoes like this one can bring primordial materials from the Earth's core to the surface. The volcanoes we just mentioned earlier are the most common and familiar type to humans. They are merely tiny pimples on the face of the Earth. These 2 types of volcanoes are completely different. As Professor Bai-Eon explained, if you were to peel the Earth apart, the Earth's crust on which we live is essentially just a thin layer of rock, with an average thickness of about 17 kilometers. The Soviet Union once drilled to a depth of 12 kilometers but still did not penetrate through the Earth's crust. We often assume that the Earth's crust is very thick and stable. But in reality, it is merely a fragile layer of cream on the surface, incapable of representing the entire full milk churn. This Earth's crust, in the face of the immense power from within the planet, is in fact extremely fragile. Not only does it have a delicate, milk skin-like crust, even the vast ocean is but a fragile film of water condensed upon the Earth's surface. We, humankind, are not even a bacterium on that fragile film of milk. After just a few dozen generations, bacteria can completely transform a vat of milk. Humanity has undergone a 3 million year journey spanning over 12,000 generations. We still cannot drill through the Earth's crust. Returning to the Earth model and the two types of volcanoes. According to Huir's theory, as explained by Professor Bai-Eon, conventional volcanoes, it's just formed by two layers of milk skin overlapping each other. As we go deeper down each layer, closer to the Earth's core, the temperature rises. The outer shell melted, simultaneously generating CO2 gas and creating immense pressure. When the pressure is sufficiently high, a small portion of the lava is forced to erupt to the surface. A lava lake formed beneath the Earth's crust and was itself the cause of the eruption. On the surface of the Earth where we live, the shifting of the Earth's crust is just like the skin on the milk in our story. This can lead to disturbances and fractures in this crustal layer, consequently causing earthquakes. That is the truth about earthquakes. Currently, methods for predicting volcanic eruptions and earthquakes are still under research and development. No single approach is considered universally applicable and entirely accurate, based on a clear understanding of the specific transformations of the Earth's crust. Experts just need to know how deep it descends and at what speed. And influenced by surrounding factors. Actually too complicated, accurate models along with methods for their detection and description. In the future, if string theory is proven to be correct, building the model will become easier, and predicting earthquakes as well as volcanic eruptions will become increasingly accurate. The supervolcanoes we commonly know of, such as Yellowstone or Mauna Loa, are all located within the territory of the United States. Even Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania is essentially just like tiny pimples on the Earth's surface, with a lava volume reaching approximately 1,000 cubic kilometers. For Earth, it's just a tiny scratch. Why live in sorrow? Those festering troubles will burst open soon enough. But Earth hardly cared, for it had little effect on its civilization. Next, we will explore the second type of volcano. This type of volcano truly carries within it immense power from the Earth's core. In string theory, this phenomenon is called the super shield. Imagine Earth as a giant churn of milk, where the inner core is constantly being heated. Could it be that those streams of warm milk would never cease to flow through the open sky? The temperature is controlled to ensure the shell does not crack. But over the past 4.6 billion years, could Earth have maintained that stability forever? Obviously not. Earth, also known as the globe, don't just sit around waiting for the milk to boil. Therefore, when the temperature is unstable, giant plumes of heat would surge upward, shattering the crust and causing catastrophic disasters. Here are some ways to rephrase the sentence above to be clearer and more natural, depending on the specific context. It could go either way. The first scenario is when lava flows out and meets seawater, and this lava flow will be extinguished in the depths of the ocean, creating mountain ranges in the middle of the ocean and giant black chimneys on the seafloor. Synergy therapy may even be able to explain the origin of life from this. Lava from deep within the Earth created fissures, and it is precisely these cracks in the volcanic rock that seep water. And these fissures act like primitive cellular bubbles, protecting the Earth's core geological layers. Over millions of years of evolution, when the first cell detached from the fissure and entered the ocean, life on Earth has begun. The second scenario occurs when the tiny superhero heads straight toward the Earth's surface. This situation can be divided into three levels: minor, moderate, and major. The situation on the island was just a minor incident, and the level of danger was insignificant. In Iceland, volcanoes can erupt continuously for decades, because the island is essentially the exposed part of an underwater mountain, where lava from the Earth's core ceaselessly yet gently erupts. The most terrifying and large-scale scenario was the Deccan Trap event, which wiped out the dinosaurs over a period of 30,000 years. And finally, there is one last case which, though less common, is extremely important: RIP East Africa. Also known as the East African Rift System, one of the largest geological faults on the Earth's surface. The distribution extends from the Arabian Peninsula in Southwest Asia southward, through East Africa, and as far as Mozambique. This system is approximately 6,400 kilometers in length, with an average width ranging from 48 to 64 kilometers. Each mountain in the East African Rift mountain range is essentially a volcano. And beneath their feet, a massive supercomputer was operating. Lava from deep within the Earth continuously erupts onto the surface, for East Africa to separate from Africa and form a new continent. And so we have reached the final lines of this story together. Here, Hill's theory offers a compelling explanation for the process of human evolution. Why didn't human evolution follow a straight line? So why are there three such distinct leaps? This evolutionary chart illustrates three major transitions. It is not the result of a gradual evolutionary process. That is because the Earth has undergone three reconstructions. According to Hill's theory, all three of these major transformations occurred near the East African Rift region, where volcanic eruptions have brought large amounts of magma to the surface. This altered the DNA structure of humanity's ancestors. More specifically, major eruptions in the East African Rift, occurring successively around 1.8 million years ago, the period from 600,000 years ago to 200,000 years ago. Each eruption releases lava with high levels of radioactivity, accelerating the DNA transformation process. A Japanese scholar named Mansunori Watanabe has conducted in-depth research on this issue. He believes that after each volcanic eruption, ancient people temporarily relocated to other areas to live. But later, they returned when the volcano settled and the land became more fertile thanks to the layer of ash it left behind. Over thousands of generations, they have lived in an environment with high levels of radiation, leading to major genetic changes. Genetic studies have determined the brain capacity of humans, such as the SAGAP2 gene, have also demonstrated that this gene was initially engineered to prevent brain atrophy caused by exposure to high radiation environments. And when the black hole is completely filled and the radiation flow decreases to a normal level, the habitat of human ancestors has returned to a stable state. However, the gene that functions to prevent brain atrophy in eggs remains active. This led to a sudden increase in our brain size. This story has repeated itself 3 times in East Africa's Rift Valley region. This phenomenon first occurred 1.8 million years ago, linked to the transition from a great ape species to a new form of hominin, Archaeopithecus man, followed by Homo habilis, the handy man. Brain capacity increased from 400 milliliters to 800 milliliters. The second occurrence took place approximately 600,000 years ago, marking the crucial transition from Homo habilis to Homo erectus. And then came the Nindrutha stage, when brain capacity increased from 800 milliliters to 1,400 milliliters. The third occurrence was 200,000 years ago, with the emergence of Homo sapiens, with a brain capacity of up to 1,600 milliliters. Currently, the human brain capacity has decreased to approximately 1,400 milliliters. This suggests that we may be more intelligent than our Stone Age ancestors. In their view, our intelligence can be compared to that of Nindrutha. This theory also offers a novel explanation for the evolutionary process of species. Perhaps Darwin's theory of gradual evolution is still too simplistic, similar to catastrophism, which posits that new species form following major disasters. Meanwhile, Darwin's theory of evolution emphasizes that evolution occurs gradually and incrementally through natural selection. However, within the framework of this theory, we see a prehistoric narrative similar to catastrophism. Japanese researcher Masanori Watanabe and 3 of his colleagues explained that, why does the East Africa region possess such rich biodiversity? And why was it on the Galapagos Islands that Darwin was able to conceive his theory of the origin of species and evolution? This is because both regions are located on a geological rift zone and have experienced magma intrusion. In these areas, the evolutionary process occurs 100 times faster than in other places, making it easier to observe. Today, the world recognizes another region undergoing a remarkably rapid process of evolution. That is none other than Death Valley in the United States. This is where the California tectonic plate is gradually separating from North America and also where a large amount of magma is present. Research on paleontological fossils also provides evidence that biological evolution can be divided into two main modes: anagenesis and cladogenesis. The phenomenon of trunk evolution often occurs when ancient tectonic plates rift apart, causing magma to well up. This leads to rapid DNA mutation and the formation of new species. The phenomenon of budding speciation often occurs when geographic networks intersect, leading to interbreeding between different species and resulting in hybrid species. Evolutionary sprouts can be viewed as small networks residing on the evolutionary tree. In conclusion, Lee Thiet-Hien believed that God is the earth, and the supercomputer is his hand and paintbrush. Magma breath is both the substance and the tool he uses to create and destroy all life. Yet greater questions remain. Could there exist a profound intelligence deep within the earth? Perhaps this earth is merely a colossal supercomputer, and the one who operates that machine is the true God. Lee Thiet-Hien not only explains volcanoes, tectonic plates, and biological evolution, but can also help us explore the Earth's grander mysteries. But what is the origin of the magnetic field, and why does Earth's magnetic field suddenly reverse? To date, no scientific theory has been able to fully explain this phenomenon. However, within the framework of Lee Thiet-Hien's theory, the existence of supermanticore might very well be the key. Manticore, as described in the theory of galaxies, could be the explanation for the origin of Earth's magnetic field. As the magma flow from the supervolcano Manticore shifted upward and downward, it generated an extremely powerful magnetic field surrounding the Earth. If these currents change, the magnetic field will also change accordingly, and may even reverse completely. In 2015, Elon Musk stated that he wanted to use thousands of nuclear bombs to bombard Mars to regenerate this planet's magnetic field and atmosphere. This statement originally stems from Lee Thiet-Hien and Masanori Watanabe's pioneering research on supermanticore. In other words, using the nuclear orb to activate this transformation is like restarting the heart of Mars. If this attack succeeds, the surface of Mars will become indistinguishable from a pot of milk simmering with tiny bubbles. It helps the planet gradually develop a magnetic field, retain its atmosphere, create water sources and oceans, and may even restore life. But if the activity of supervolcanoes deep within the Earth were to suddenly cease, then the volcanoes on the Earth's surface would also go extinct. Earth would immediately turn into a dead planet, similar to Mars. At this point, the story leads us to a new question. What is the origin of Earth's water? This can perhaps also be explained by Heer's theory. According to many urban legends, the origin of Earth's water is believed to have come from the Moon, from shooting stars, or from other asteroids. In summary, the origin of Earth's water remains a mystery to this day. But why isn't water something that was inherently present on Earth from the very beginning? According to previous conceptions, Earth was a completely arid and lifeless planet during its first 700 million years after formation. Just a fireball named Ha-Din. And in such an environment, the water would evaporate completely. Furthermore, Earth has also gone through periods where its magnetic field became very weak, similar to that on Mars. The water on the surface was blown out into outer space. Therefore, in previous hypotheses, water was not considered a natural component of the Earth. But if we assume that super germs have existed since the Earth's formation, so the question of the origins of nations can be answered. Water on Earth may have originated from chemical reactions deep within superplumes. From the very dawn of time, Earth awaited the emergence of elements such as hydrogen and oxygen. During the cooking process, the macromolecules release a fluid. These two elements combine to form water. And water has no connection whatsoever with the Earth's surface. Even when the surface appears completely parched, water from the inside can still continue to circulate. When the Earth's surface reaches suitable conditions, this water will erupt onto the surface. Through the volcanic craters, they condensed and turned into liquid form. It may sound hard to believe, but in 2010, scientists in Australia have discovered fossils dating back to the Hadean Eon, more than 4 billion years ago, and this research confirmed the existence of supermaterial long before Earth became a blazing fireball. At that time, tectonic activity from the supercontinents was occurring on Earth. And this is also a planet overflowing with water. If the water puzzle could be solved this way, so is petroleum perhaps another form of water, formed deep within the Earth? Previously, it was believed that petroleum was formed from the remains of plants and ancient animals, buried within the Earth's layers. Under high pressure and temperature,